Okay, now we've been working for a little bit. Let's talk about how to save our show file, or how to save our show. The way we do that is we come up here to the browser button. We select browser, and our browser opens and highlights. It's in gold. Using our arrow keys, arrowing up and down, or right and left. In this case, it defaulted to file. So we arrow right to expand the file menu. New, save as. We're going to do a save as in this case onto our show file, which is the internal hard drive. So we hit select, ask for OK or cancel. In this case, we're going to hit select again, which is OK. Keyboard pops up on the screen, and that's there for a couple of reasons. You can use either the hard keyboard, the keyboard using a mouse, and which is how we're going to use it today, or if you had a touchscreen, you could type directly on the screen. So we're going to cap locks and call this training, ING, and enter. And so it saved it as show file training. It actually populates the show file so that if you do a save as and you forget to type something in, it'll automatically populate for us. So we've now saved our file. So we have show file and show file training. A little word about saving. Let's do a save one more time because I want to show you a nice feature that is in here for if we do forget to change a name between saves. If we come up here and we simply do a save, so we go select and select again, what happens is the file, the console creates multiple copies, so you don't have to remember to do that yourself. So coming back down to show file archives again, actually we're going to change up, we're going to do the open part. So we come down to open, show file, and if you'll notice under show file training, it's now highlighted or a little more gold. So looking at these two, you'll notice how this one is a little thinner, and this one is more bolded and lighter. It means there's a second file under there. And that was the first save. This is the last and most recent save we did. If we arrow right, you'll notice now that we have a second file, and that's the older one. So if we're working and we've done some work, we have the ability to not lose stuff from one save to the next or overwrite that piece of the hard drive. And this is also where we would come if we wanted to reopen. So if we wanted to reopen our old one, we could come in here and hit select. These are things we can do: partial shows or open partial shows. If we only wanted to open patch from an old show, we could turn everything else off by clicking on them. In this case, we're going to open everything. We're going to hit select. And so we've just simply reopened our show file. Now the other thing I want to talk about is backing up and storing into multiple locations. So right now we've saved 2 copies of the show, but they're both saved onto the console itself. It's important to always keep multiple copies. And the way we do that on this console is through a USB key. This little symbol here is for USB, and this is just simply a dust cover. So we pop that out, and we set it aside, and take our USB key, and you insert the USB key. You'll notice over on the browser, we're going to re-highlight the browser, that it's populated. So we're not going to open anything off of this one yet because we haven't saved anything. We're going to come back up to save as. Going to arrow right, and in addition to show file archive, you'll notice we now have the Kingston USB key. We hit select and select again. On the command line, you'll notice that it already has show file populated, so that's what it would save as. In this case, we're going to clear that out just to change the name, and we're going to call this training again. And G. So it's only training, and we hit enter. And so now under the Kingston file, under the Kingston USB key, we now have saved our training file. It's important to keep multiple copies because, in that scenario of if anything does happen to the console and you needed another one or you borrowed one from another facility, you now have your show file on the USB key, and you can simply put it in and be back up and running. And that's kind of it for saving and opening. Quick look at opening one more time. Browser, open, and here's a variety of shows on this console already. So in this case, we're going to open the one we were just working with again and select, and so we're back where we left off.